What is income purification, Tathir, for halal investments? Imagine your investment earnings are like a glass of water. If some of that water contains impurities, you need to clean it before drinking. That's what income purification, or Tathir, does in Islamic finance. It's a process to remove any part of your earnings that come from forbidden sources. Think of it as cleansing your wealth to keep it pure and compliant with Islamic rules. In halal investing and wealth management, this step is very important. It follows the initial check called the Sharia screening process. During screening, investments are checked to ensure they meet Islamic ethical standards. But sometimes, even after screening, small amounts of earnings might still come from non-permissible activities. For example, a company might mainly sell halal products but also earn a tiny bit from interest or alcohol sales. If that non-halal income is below a certain percentage, usually 5% of total revenue, the investment is still considered permissible. However, the non-halal part must be purified. Purification involves calculating how much of your earnings come from these forbidden sources. You do this by applying a purification ratio, which is the percentage of non-permissible income in the company's total revenue. Once you find that amount, you donate it to charity. This act isn't about gaining rewards but about cleansing your wealth and keeping it ethically sound. There are different ways to purify income. One common method is to purify only the dividends you receive from stocks. If you sell shares and make a profit, you might also need to purify part of that gain. Some scholars recommend doing this calculation every year, especially if you hold many investments. To help, you can use Islamic stock screening services that provide purification ratios for specific companies. The goal of income purification is to ensure that your wealth remains pure and aligned with Islamic principles. It reminds us that wealth is a trust from God, and it's our duty to keep it clean. Regular purification helps you grow your wealth in a way that respects your faith and ethical standards. It's a simple yet powerful step to make sure your investments stay halal and spiritually sound.